after COVID, the incidence of
Yep.
anxiety and depression almost quadrupled.
Yep.
And so I think we're still dealing with the lingering effects of that,
Mm,
whether people are struggling with finances and relationships, and, a lot of family compositions change during that particular time. And
mm,
people are really still working through that. But I don't feel that we talk about how to manage stress or feelings of overwhelm openly.
yeah.
And particularly with, because as adults, we're kind of told, we're thought, well, you're an adult, figure it out.
Welcome to Anelra. Have you ever thought about unlocking the full potential of yourself or the leaders in your organization? Imagine the impact of executive coaching. Ready to transform your leadership impact? Visit us at www.anelratalent.com. Anelra, coaching solutions that work.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the podcast. Today is the first episode in a series of episodes that I'm doing with one of my besties, Dr. Rosalyn Pitts-Clark. Rosalyn, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I should say welcome back to the podcast because you've been here before. So in a little bit, I want you to share a little bit about just who you are so people can remember if they hadn't listened to the previous episodes. But for these episodes in general, we're really focused on how do we talk through some interesting topics that can help us work well and live well. So there are topics that are personally meaningful to each of us. But we want to talk about it in an interesting way, share some of our personal experiences with it, with the idea that we all walk away with something new, some new insight, some new mindset, something new to try that can help us all work well and live well. But Rosalind, what else would you add to our intentions for these episodes?
You're taking a peek into our conversations. I think we talk almost every day and we come up with some amazing ideas. I think together we could probably solve all the world's problems. But so many of the things and the ideas and the problems that we work on together, I think so many women in particular are grappling with the same issues. So it's great to share with other people who may be going through the same experiences.
Yeah, I love that because you're right. These are conversations we're having anyway. So now it's just a chance that every now and then we'll connect and record it so that hopefully more people can benefit from it. And I know you've been on before, but by way of introduction, maybe just share a little bit about yourself professionally and personally, since we'll get into both.
So, my name is Rosalyn Pitts-Clark, and I am a mom. I'm an older mom. I have a 6-year-old son. I am a recent divorcee. We are trying to figure out this new normal in our lives. I'm living in Georgia, relatively new. I've been here for about 9 years now, but just trying to forge a life for me and my kiddo. I'm also a licensed psychologist working and practicing here in the metro Atlanta area. And I also do some news work on one of the local affiliates. And I was able to come on this podcast, I think maybe a year ago or so, when we were talking about maintaining friendships in adulthood. So it is so, so good to be back.
Yeah, yeah. We did. That was a really good conversation. We also got to talk about generations at work one time.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it's interesting that we're basically the same age. I mean, I think you're a little younger than me, but not much, but basically the same age. And we're in really different life stages. Like when you said that, we were talking recently, you mentioned that, and I was like, oh man, that's true. Like, for those who don't know, Roz and I went to college together. We were roommates in college. Like, we've been through the whole life journey together. But it is interesting, like, you're raising a little one. My daughter just graduated from college. Um, Kelvin and I've been together, goodness, I couldn't believe this the other day. I thought about it. 27 years this year married, but 30 years total that we've known each other at this point. So, but we both are working professionals as well, even though we're working in different industries. So I think that can also be an interesting part of these conversations, just that we're grappling with the same topics, but in different ways and in different contexts. So I think, that kind of difference of context and difference of opinion can also help in solving problems.
Absolutely. It's funny when you think about it. We have known each other longer than we have not at this point in our lives.
Wow. Yeah,
'Cause
that's true. A lot longer, actually.
we met at like 17, the day before we were leaving for college.
Yeah.
So we've known each other longer than we haven't. And I agree with you. I think even though we're grappling with a lot of the same issues, perimenopause, not ending our work careers, but moving into more senior season positions in our work careers. Um, managing family outside of our immediate household. However, like you said, I have a 6-year-old. Don't do the math, anybody. And, your daughter just graduated from college. So, some of the things that you've been able to give me a lot of perspective on parenting and navigating the day-to-day grind. Whereas, you and Kelvin are able to, you're empty nesters basically. And so you're enjoying this new stage of life. So one day I'll get there. I might be 95, but I'm gonna get there.
You're absolutely going to get there, and you're not going to be 95 when you get there.
Maybe
And
96.
the other thing I was thinking about, we talk about a lot, which what we might get to one of those topics today is just health and wellness and maintaining our health and trying to stay as fit and well as we can. And you've always been my role model in that. Like you've always been ahead, and I'm always, I'm calling like, what's on the list for dinner this week? Like what are we doing? This is what's going on in my workouts, etc. So I think some of the topics we'll be able to dive into some of that too, where kind of we're both focused on the same things, but in different places for sure. So yes, I look forward to that too. So let me ask you this. I guess let's start with one of the things we want to do just for everyone on these episodes is start with what we're calling check-ins. So Rosa, why don't you kick us off with that?
So I will ask you first. How are you? Like, really, how are you? Normally people give trite, yeah, great. I'm fine. Too blessed to be stressed. you know,
Mhm.
how are you? How is life? What's
You
going on?
know, life right now is it's in a really good place. So I think in terms of Lauren just graduated from school, we just kind of finished the graduation festivities, which was a lot of fun. We're in summertime, which for me, even though she's not in school anymore, but summertime, even when she was little, I just always felt was the more laid back time. It was like, you just kind of take some of the stress off, you kind of go at a slower pace. Like I try to lean in on summer even now. From the business side, we're kind of focused on growth. Q1 was really rough for our business, rough enough that it made me say, okay, we got to do some things differently in terms of marketing and business development. So we started that at the end of Q1 and it's starting to pull through. Like last month, it started to pull through. So we got a lot of new projects, new clients, new business, which has been amazing. And I think personally, what I'm focused on is always my health journey. So, as you know, like how do I eat well, move well, manage these migraines until I'm healed from them, like just health in general. And I think the second thing would be just work motivation, maybe work engagement. More so in the last month, I'd say maybe month or two than anytime recently. Some days I wake up and I'm like, let's get after it, like all this energy, let's go. And other days I wake up and it's like, oh, I'm gonna have to force myself to get this stuff done today. Like it's more variable than I think it used to be. I think I sent you and our other friend Tasha a text the other day. I was like, oh my God, like I'm having to force myself to work today. Like it was that kind of day. So I
I
think
gave
that's
you an
what's top
option.
of mind for me. Yeah, figuring out the health thing still always. And then this work motivation, work engagement just seems different now than it was before.
Yeah, I can understand that. I can understand that. And it's so important to have people around you that you can actually share how you're really doing,
Yeah.
as opposed to pass by. I'm good. I'm fine. Everything's great. So I
Mhm.
think that helps in our journey.
Yeah. So, how are you doing? Or should I say, how are you really doing?
Um, Today has been a struggle. I had a flat tire last night. I had to call AAA. They came shockingly within 30 minutes and changed my tire. So, just this morning, just running errands, I had to get my tire fixed, get my kiddo up and out to school. Um, Not school, but camp. But I'm okay. I am okay. The days are long, but the years seem to go by pretty fast because I can't believe the little joker's 6.
Yeah.
But, like you, I work for a public school system primarily, so I am finally on summer vacation. for only 5 weeks, but I digress. Um, which some people are like, okay, 5 weeks,
Right.
but
You're not going to get a lot of sympathy for 5 weeks. I can tell you that. So yes, carry on.
but it was a rough year simply because I had some new team members. I'm a lead psychologist, so I have several psychologists who work under me. And so there was a lot of coaching involved, and I was battling horrific sciatic nerve pain during from probably November to March. It was rough, really sidelining me. So now that that's passed and the school year's passed, I feel like I can take a breath and just try to regroup. But one thing I'm trying not to do is fill my days with tasks. Hasn't worked yet, but I am determined that I am not going to fill my days with tasks. But other than that, you know what? I won't complain. I won't complain. I realize that I am very fortunate, and a lot of my concerns are what we call first world problems. So I'm good. You know what? I am actually doing pretty well.
Yeah, you're doing amazing. And you know what? I think that when you're talking about the pain management and dealing with that, yeah, there's a different, I don't know, just dealing with chronic pain is just different. Like that might be a topic we jump into in one of these episodes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I dealt with something last year that was like about a month, maybe a month and a half, which is nothing compared to what millions of people live with. But just that month and a half showed me, wow, when you have chronic pain, like the way it can affect your emotions, your just like how your personality, like how you feel about things. Like it's really, I don't know, it was more dramatic than I expected in such a short period of time. So it just gave me a lot of empathy for what you went through and what people go through when you're dealing with kind of chronic pain. So that might be something on a future episode we kind of dive into.
Absolutely. Because 9 times out of 10, you don't know that the person is experiencing that. And they're supposed
Yeah.
to work, parent, spouse, all the things, and
Friend.
get friend. I mean, just in pain. And it is something I don't wish on my worst enemy. So yeah,
Yeah.
we could
Okay.
definitely talk about that.
Okay. Good. Okay, so what we want to do on these episodes, as I mentioned, is kind of talk about four topics, maybe five if we get into it, but definitely at least four that we're each bringing. And these are live conversations. So we haven't pre recorded this or pre planned this. These are live conversations just to give a look into our normal day to day conversations and how we solve problems and how we talk about different ideas. So I'll go first with the topic, then I'll kick it to you, Rosalind, and we'll kind of go back and forth. But my first topic, which I think I told you some of the things I was thinking about, and I don't think anything I'm talking about is anything I told you I was thinking about. I changed it all, by the way. But my first topic is this new trend or idea I'm hearing from people around tech-free weekends. So the idea is that we're all amped up on these digital
Mhm.
devices, screens, televisions, etc. All of our nervous systems are overactivated. It's having effects on our mental health, our anxiety. We know we're in a mental health crisis right now with levels of anxiety and depression. And the idea is that unplugging over a weekend can reduce anxiety. It can improve our sleep quality because we're not getting all this blue light from different
Mhm.
screens. And, even if we're using it well, it could help us connect better with others because we're removing, the phone or the screen between our connections that we often have, iPad, whatever.
Right.
Um, so I have some other thoughts on it, but so to combat all that, the idea is taking tech-free weekends. So before I share more, what are your thoughts on that?
The psychologist in me loves this. I love it.
Okay.
The mother in me, man, there have to be some moments when this little boy has to have something just I can get a moment of like just just be quiet.
Right.
While at the yes, I'm just like practically, ooh.
Practically.
And I
Practically.
think,
Yes.
and again, I think that speaks to where we are in our life journey too, because you don't have to plan for a tech-free weekend.
Mhm.
You and Kelvin, Lauren, have at it. Have it. Well, good
Yeah.
luck getting a 20 something to do that. But
Exactly. I was thinking
you
Kelvin to do it.
yeah,
Okay. Yes.
but you don't have to figure out what are we gonna do instead of,
Yeah.
right? Um, but I would actually love it. I agree with you. I think that we are seeing heightened levels of anxiety and depression. across age gaps or across age levels, rather, across gender. And I myself have thought, you know what, I need to step away from Instagram or Facebook because, you see people living all these amazing, supposedly amazing lives. Like even when like Jeremy was small, and I'm like, how did they get that baby to pose for that picture like that? And my kid is like laid out and
Yeah.
running around, and I'm like, this is not real life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think just the sensory and the information overload, I think it's a
Yeah.
great idea in theory.
In theory. And you know why I like this concept? One reason I like the idea, and I'll tell you what I've tried on it a little bit, but I worked with a friend of mine years ago, and she's Jewish, and
Mhm.
she observed the Sabbath. And so we were all working in these very high pressured roles, but for her, every Friday evening, I think it was like Friday at sunset till Saturday night, she
Mhm.
was on her Sabbath. And that meant she wasn't taking phone calls, we weren't texting, she wasn't emailing. And when she described, because I was like, tell me more about this. And what she described that she was doing is she was like, yeah, we might go to worship service, we'll get together, have dinner as a family. Um, it was kind of that connection point. She was like, I rest, and it just sounded so peaceful. I was like,
Right.
"Oh my gosh, this idea of like 24 hours with no technology, like that just sounds so peaceful." So I've tried it a couple times, like not the whole weekend, but this idea of like Friday night to Saturday night. Um,
How did it work for you?
you know, it's mixed. I'd say I still try it sometimes, but the results are mixed so far. I think
Okay.
one reason is so much is on your phone.
Yes.
Like so much of what you do, not just like, let's say I decide to meal prep. Well, my meal prep list is on my phone. Like there's a lot that kind of, even when you try to do something off the phone, like my books, like I tend to read, on my phone, ebooks. So when you want to read, you still, so like I realize that I've set up a lot of my life on this phone. So when I try to detach from it, it's not as easy because you almost have to, I'd have to prepare more is what I've decided. Like print some stuff out, like actually get regular. Yes, I said print. I said print. Look on your face. Yes, I said print some stuff out, get regular books. Like I'd have to do something because the reality is once you're drawn into the phone, well,
Yeah.
now I'm seeing text messages. Now I'm seeing like, so it's not as easy, but even with the challenges, I did feel after the 24 hours, I felt more rested. I felt more disconnected. Like there was still a benefit to it, even though, even I wouldn't say I'm 100% successful because I thought about it. One of the things she has, which I don't, is like she has a community of people that are all doing this
Yeah.
together. So
Right.
that's like really reinforcing. Whereas like I'm the only one doing it in our household. So I can't be like, everybody cut the TV off. Like,
You're just out there alone on an island.
exactly. So I think the community aspect helps, but nonetheless, I did think a day, like sometimes I won't do Friday night to Saturday night, but I'll do all day Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel better after it's over.
Impressed. I'm
Yeah.
thoroughly impressed.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
funny,
Uh-huh.
funny. We're going on vacation. We're going on a really small cruise, right?
Okay.
There is an option to pay for internet service on the cruise.
Yeah.
Do I pay for it? Or do I say, for these 3 days, we are tech free? I am
Okay.
not going to pay for this.
Okay, let me ask you this. Can you change your mind? Like, can you say I'm not paying for it, but then after day one, be like, oh, no, no, we're paying for it? Like, do you have the option of changing your mind?
I'm sure they'll take my money. I'm absolutely positive they'll take my money.
And
But
then
I
I
was
like
like,
the challenge of trying it without it if you're sure that you could go back. Now, if you're not sure you can go back, then that seems too risky. Like, but
I'm I'm gonna look. I'm gonna read the fine print on that. I mean, and I'll be honest, like when we're doing stuff during the summer, if we're out and about at the pool or at the beach, like there is no phone because I'm so consumed with making sure, my child and everybody else's child is safe.
right.
But I'm really thinking about, I don't know if it's me being cheap or trying to do a
There's
tech holiday.
nothing wrong with a double bonus. There's nothing
Right.
wrong with that.
How are you charging people for internet access at that rate? I'm like,
Maybe it's worth trying then. Okay, so I was reading an article and they were saying here's some ways to try it. So what you're
yeah,
talking about is kind of in that. So one way is like instead of saying, okay, I'm not going to be on my phone. It's saying, what am I going to do instead? So,
Okay.
like you were saying, like, okay, when I'm doing things with my baby, like I'm not on my phone anyway because it's just too engaging. So this is like, what are other things you could do that are super engaging that may take you away from the technology without you having to be like, I'm just going to sit here and not touch my phone. So I'll give you a few of them. They said like a nature day. So hike, walks, park, and commit to basically, they said observing, not documenting. So no photos, posts, just kind of spending time outside. Um,
Definitely.
a reading day. I had to sleep and read. Like
I
that would
like
be
I like
the idea
that.
of reading and then sleeping and reading and napping. I'm like,
That sounds divine.
yeah, they said it's like savoring slowness.
Oh,
Like, yeah. Okay, I love that one.
but wait a minute. The author of this article has how many kids living now?
0.0 kids probably.
Okay.
You do.
Well,
This may be a day when the baby's not with you.
okay. All right.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Cook or bake, neighborhood wander. So either your neighborhood or you're going to a walkable neighborhood. And then the
Okay.
last one, getting crafty. Like I could pull out that sewing machine I haven't pulled out in years. Or like they said, a silent morning. So like just starting your morning with no music, no phone, no TV, no podcast, just like a silent few hours in the morning. So that might be ways you can kind of step into it without saying, okay, I'm gonna spend the whole weekend tech free, but maybe I have a tech free morning or a tech free day.
So I can do this. I can't do the silent morning because even though I'm trying to do a slower pace, some
Yeah.
people are still up at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
I can do a few silent I can do some silent hours, blocks of silent hours. I think I may try that on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I think I
Yeah.
might try that.
Yeah.
Just
Just not taking in stuff, like, mhm.
hmm,
Okay. All right. If you try it, then you have to come back and tell us later. So,
I'll say,
in general, I think the takeaway is, am I aware of the impact of technology on like myself and
right,
those I care about and the relationships that I have as well? And then
right.
is there something, like you're saying, like a few hours, is there something I can do to reduce the negative impacts? Because the research is clear. There are downsides for us being on our
Absolutely.
technology so much. So it's like,
Absolutely.
is there something we can each do to kind of take it down? And I think I'm going to try more of the kind of tech-free Saturdays. Like,
Oh,
like I'm going to try that. I'm going to keep trying that a little more. See if I can get better at it because I'm not yet good at it.
so that does that mean I can't call you?
No, you can call. I just may not answer. You can call. I just may not have my phone with me, so I may not answer, but feel free to call. Yeah, always. And then call Kelvin if it's an emergency. Trust me,
Absolutely.
he's going to have it. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Could you please tap Arlene on the shoulder and tell her to pick up? Thank you.
Let her pick up her phone. Yes,
That
exactly. Well, that's
is
that's
hilarious.
topic one. So what you got? What's your topic?
So my topic is how did our mothers do everything? I am like now I will share that my mother has passed. It's been 4 years since
Mhm.
my mom passed. So I don't have the luxury of asking her, how did you go back to school and get your master's degree and cart two children around to 1,000 activities and have a hot dinner waiting every night and you were a wife to your husband and we always had clean clothes and we did projects together and all the things and you were still standing and looking good because I am on the struggle bus and I have help. Like I have a housekeeper and we have sitters and stuff like that. I'm like, how in the absolute hell did you do all that? Like I don't get it.
That
Like
is such a good question. Honestly, I've thought about how clean our house was growing up. And honestly, I wasn't doing that much. Like, I did some, but I mean, reality, let's be clear, I wasn't doing that much. And like, you're right, my mom washed all of our clothes and, you know, I was thinking of how terrible it was. Like, she would fold them and put them in my room, and I'd be like, "Oh, I gotta put these clothes away." I mean,
yes,
like, they sit on that dresser for days. She's like, "Yeah,
yes,
those clothes away." But I
yes.
mean, she was doing that, and yeah, Rosalind, I don't know. I did ask mom this one time.
Okay.
I might need to call her to ask her again, but I asked her this one time and she said one, she didn't sleep much. literally what she said. She said she didn't sleep much. So, and I do remember she would be up late many days doing these things. Um, and I don't know, when I think about my time, I also don't think, which I don't know if is good, but I also don't remember her relaxing much.
Yeah.
Like if I think about what she did just to enjoy,
Mhm.
things like I can't think of, I mean, a couple things here and there, but there was no regular, like she didn't watch a certain TV show all the time, or she wasn't Netflixing, or like, and she wasn't, it wasn't like a lot of time spent working out necessarily, or,
Yeah.
it was kind of like so much was centered on the family. It feels like that time that I'm spending doing other things, she probably was cooking. You know what I mean? Like the time I'm working out or I'm watching TV or I'm doing other things, like I think she spent doing things in service to the family. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, but I know I'm an early morning workout person. I know you like to do it kind of midday. I have to do it before my body and my brain kind of connect. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Mhm.
But, I look at that, like I get up super early to do that. But I also look at going back to like you were saying, the no screen time. I feel, and this is an honest assessment. I feel like I waste a lot of time on my
Mhm.
phone. And that could be kind of the gap where, our mothers were getting all those things done where I might be scrolling on, Facebook or Instagram and, or looking up random recipes that take me down a rabbit hole or, whatever. Um, versus like actually being disciplined to get things done. So that might be, I mean, that kind of circling back to your topic, that might help in trying
Mhm.
to figure out how to move forward. But I also think that our self-care, we believe in self-care. Excuse me. I don't think our mothers really had that concept. Like my mom and I, your mom too went to get their hair done like every 2 weeks.
Mhm.
And that was kind of their self-care where we get our nails done, we get our hair done, we get massages. Well, I used to, I don't do that anymore.
Mhm.
It's been a long time. We, do those things for ourselves, which, if you put time here, you're going to take time away from somewhere else. But
Mhm.
I often feel overwhelmed. I literally feel overwhelmed. And even like with meal prepping, I remember telling my mom this new concept of meal prepping, and she was like, "You mean how I cook like 2 meats on Sunday and like 5 vegetables and we eat it all week?" That I was like, "Yeah, that."
Yeah, that thing, that old thing you've been doing all this time that we're now calling meal
Yeah,
prepping. Yeah, that
yeah.
thing.
She was like, "Girl, there's nothing new under the sun."
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I do struggle with trying to figure out how to get everything done. And I also, and both of our moms were educators, but excuse me, I know my mom had, she was off when we got out of school. For me and my job, I'm still working way after my kid
Mhm.
gets out of
Yeah.
school. And so I don't want to say my demands of my job are more, but I know the time that I have to put into that work is a bit more than being on a teacher, God bless teachers, a teacher schedule where I could, if I wanted to, walk out the door when the kids left. So
Yeah, I mean, that could be part of it too. Although I'm telling you, my mom was an English teacher, and when I say papers,
yes,
Lord, grading all those papers and nonsense,
yes,
it was a lot. I mean, I'm gonna follow up. I'm gonna call my mom and ask her again. Like, there must be something other than she didn't sleep much.
yeah,
That was
and-
her last answer, but I'm gonna ask her like, what else was it? Because I think it is easy to get overwhelmed with just
mhm,
the to-dos of house life, kids, etc. And we had a Bible study on this recently, and another thing people are saying, like with the demands of work or just the life you're living today, even if we take out what our parents did in the past, um, some of these expectations are things we're putting on ourselves
true.
that I don't know, like are we expecting too much too? Like, you know what I mean? Can we work out and like do all the other things we think are important and also, you know, clean the house, like have your house straight before you go to bed at night? Is that doable?
No, no,
Maybe.
because I'm telling you, I'll come back with a laundry list of things. I'll make the list at work after
Yeah.
after Jeremy goes to bed. I'm going to do this, that. After he goes to bed, I'm 2 steps behind him. It's
Right.
come on.
Right. Exactly. And some of that I think is good, honestly. Like, especially if I think about Black women specifically, there's all this research on how our mortality is less. Like we live
Yeah.
less years. So
Yeah.
sometimes I do think we carry more
Mhm.
stress, more expectations, more, I don't know, but we put too much pressure on ourselves to do some of this. So some of
Mhm.
it's like also re-saying, okay, it is what it is. Like, what is it I might do differently? Like, am I going to
Right.
spend less time on technology or am I going to just change the expectations I have for myself so that I'm not constantly feeling like I'm missing an expectation?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, who actually puts the expectation that you must have a clean house? You know, that you, well, uh, let me not say clean house. So it doesn't have to be spotless. You know what I mean?
There we go.
Yeah, there you go. It can be lived in. And I tell people all the time, if you come here, we live in our house. You don't like it? There's a hotel about 5 miles down the street. But
Yeah.
we live in our house. The dishes will be washed usually, or they'll be in the dishwasher. Bathrooms
Mhm.
will be clean. But
Yeah.
you good luck, friends.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, some of that I think is that taken, but I think this is a good one. Like, I'm going to really think about this.
Yeah,
'Cause I feel
yeah,
like this is one a lot of us struggle with, and I don't have a good answer for it.
yeah. Especially us working. Well, I think working moms and moms who work in the home. I think it's the pressure we feel from society and from ourselves is tough.
Yeah.
It's
Mm.
tough. It's tough because that mommy guilt is no joke.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, at this point, Lauren's she's pretty much independent, to a certain
Mm,
extent, especially caring for herself and those kind of things. But
right.
in my mind, I still want to have like decent food for her to eat. I want us to have great meals. Like it doesn't really go away because I think about that
Mhm.
for myself. I think about it for Kelvin. And of course, when she's here, I think about it for her too. It's like, oh
Right.
yeah, what are we? So it's still a little bit of that carries on, even though she's, an adult essentially.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah. I get it. I get it. All right. So what you got? What's your next topic?
okay. Topic 3. My topic is stress in the body. So I have been over the last few years just kind of dibble dabbling, not nothing deep, in this idea of they call somatic coaching, which is understanding the connection between your mind and your body.
Okay.
And it also comes from this book, Body Keep Your Body, The Body Keeps the Score. And
Hmm.
the idea is that our daily stress and life pressures, kind of what we were just talking about,
Hmm.
actually live in the body, and that our physical bodies can hold on to stress, that our brains haven't worked out yet.
Right.
And the idea behind somatic coaching is that, yeah, you can talk it out in therapy and all that's great. But another way to work out stress is through physical activity. It's like the actual movement of your body, like it's moving the stress out of your body
Mhm.
through movement. So I got more, but I'm curious on your thoughts on that.
So I do believe, stress increases the cortisol in your body, and that's your stress hormone. Um, by the way, in case you both didn't, everyone didn't know, both of us are psychologists, but we just branched into two different areas of psychology. Arlene is more human resources and coaching, and I'm more clinical and work with babies. But yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that, and I think we all hold when we hold stress in our bodies. It it manifests itself in different ways. Some of it is in we can't get rid of the belly fat. Some of it is we can't drop pounds off the scale. Some of it is high blood pressure, diabetes, and chronic heart disease. But I am a firm believer that physical movement of your body helps to alleviate that stress. I think we've talked about this before. Through some of the most challenging times in my life, exercise is what saved me. Like I probably would have been on Wellbutrin or something at that point, but picking up heavy objects and putting them down, i.e., lifting weights, spinning, sprinting on my Peloton, really, really helped to level set my emotional stability. And I think that I agree. I think moving your body has a lot to do with it. A
Yeah.
lot to do.
Where
Yeah,
do you feel stress in your body first? Like if you're feeling stressed, do you have a place in your body where you feel like the stress goes?
my shoulders.
Yeah.
I feel my shoulders tense up. Even at the times I've gotten massages, they're like, "Oh my God, you carry all of your stress in your shoulders." And I'm like, "Yeah, I do. I
Mhm.
do." And I also notice it so in terms of my body, my shoulders, but also I notice it in my sleep patterns too. If
Mm,
my cortisol levels are high, I don't sleep well.
yeah.
So
I
yeah.
could see that. I could see, yeah. And is there anything you do? So one thing you do is working out. Is there anything you do like throughout the day to relieve the stress? Is it breathing? Is it a quick walk around the school? Like, is there anything else you do that when you feel it to let it out?
Unfortunately, I'm not that disciplined, so no. It's 5:30 in the morning. We're gonna get all the stress we can get out from 5:30 to 6:30, and then after that, we just gonna have to let it sit there till
It's gonna be there till 5:30 the next morning.
yeah. Um, sometimes I'll close my office door because I usually have an open door policy.
Mhm.
Sometimes I'll close my office door and just take a beat. But yeah, I've got nothing on that.
Okay.
I've got nothing on that.
Let me
I
share a couple ideas. Go ahead. What were we gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say, like, when Jeremy is stressing me out, I have learned to stop and breathe, and I breathe in front of him to try to model, mommy's getting frustrated. I need you to, do whatever and try to model that for him. But yeah, I need some strategies.
Yeah, no, breathing is one of them. Actually, that's one of them. It's like
Okay.
taking a moment, deep breaths, like calming your body down. So that actually is one of the key strategies. I think a lot of times we think of like, oh, it's just breathing, but no, deep breathing can really like it can really calm you down a lot and relieve some of that stress. So breathing is actually one of them. So you are doing some of it. The other one is stretching. So, taking an intentional moment to stretch your shoulders or kind of
Okay.
stand up, stretch your body, like that's another one. Any kind of movement is one too. So, if it's a walk around the school, like I think about, I do Peloton too. And one of the people I do that does the HIIT workouts, he calls it an emotional lap. Like he's like Adrian, if you ever do this, like he's like, okay, like you just did something really hard and you're about to do something harder, and he's like, go ahead, take an emotional lap. You just walk around like in a small circle. And it's like just the moment you need to be like, okay, you know what, let's get it, like
Yeah.
let's figure it
Yeah.
out. So some kind of an emotional lap sometimes, even if it's around your workplace or school, around the block, even for 5 minutes can help. Um, and I think one of that helps me if I'm really overwhelmed, like sleep helps me. Like you just need to go to bed early. Like tonight, no, leave the dishes or do whatever you got to do. Just get in the bed at 8 o'clock, you know what I mean? Or whatever time it is, and just kind of allow your kind of the weight in your body to leave and just sleep. Like let the bed hold you, basically. So sleep helps me too.
So I have to ask this then. Do you think we're more stressed these days than the previous generation? I think so. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. And I think even the research when I think about like we were talking about the high levels of anxiety and depression and all those things kind of speak to that too. Um, I don't know if it's like I think about the things I've heard my parents talk about that they went through.
Right.
I don't know that what we're experiencing is actually that much more stressful than what they went through, but I do think we find it more stressful.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Interested. It's hard. You can't do this in terms of data at this point, but just to look at levels of stress, compare current levels of what we perceive as stress to
Mhm.
pre-COVID levels of stress, because I think
Mhm.
after COVID, the incidence of
Yep.
anxiety and depression almost quadrupled.
Yep.
And so I think we're still dealing with the lingering effects of that,
Mm,
whether people are struggling with finances and relationships and, a lot of family compositions changed during that particular time, and
mm,
people are really still working through that. But I don't feel that we talk about how to manage stress or feelings of overwhelm openly.
yeah.
And particularly with, because as adults, we're kind of told, we're thought, well, you're an adult, figure it out.
Yeah, you can handle it.
Yeah, you'll figure it out. But I definitely think we need to start looking at ways that are helpful because not only are we seeing increase in death by suicide, we're also seeing increases in people on medication for various mental health issues, and then also kiddos who can't control their bodies and their emotions. Um,
Yeah.
because, yeah.
And I think the physical strategies could be really helpful. And I hear parents using them with
Mhm.
little ones just because, you know, you may not be able to cognitively talk out what they're feeling. They may not even be able to. And that's true for adults too. Like sometimes you can
Yeah.
kind of feel the stress and you're not even sure where it's from. Like you can't work it out in your mind necessarily,
Right.
but you can kind of
Right.
physically work it out of your body. And so
Yeah.
you think about too, like a lot of kids now are just, they say kids today get so much less physical activity than we
Yeah.
used to get. Like, yeah, you might have had a bad day at school, but by the way, after school, I was meeting my friend Lee Mar. We were all over the neighborhood. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
we
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
hanging out. Like we were riding our bikes places we weren't supposed to be. Like we were
I'm
it was
tell.
a really good time. So I think that physical energy that kids used to have as well, you know, this researcher would say, the physical would say, yeah, that is a stress reliever that didn't require the talk out, which is,
Right.
not that that's wrong, but this is just another way of doing it.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, stress is unavoidable, and it's interesting because when you look at the research on stress, like there's good stress and then there's bad stress. The good stress, the anxiety or the nervousness you feel before a presentation or a test or something like that. But then the negative stress, the stuff that we carry in our bodies and our emotions and things like that, we don't really talk enough about how to mitigate that, but also understanding it never goes away, but
Mhm.
how do we, incorporate those strategies in order to live a productive life? So, yeah, I mean, this is why psychologists will never go out of business.
And they're in high demand right now, by the way.
Yes,
So,
ma'am. Yes,
high
ma'am.
demand.
They
So,
are.
yeah, I think that's the biggest takeaway is like, how do we notice when the stress shows up in our body as a signal? Like
Mhm.
one takeaway from somatic coaching is like, notice your body, like know if your shoulders are getting tense or you can, I used to get tension headaches. I don't get those as much anymore, but like when you feel yourself, holding your forehead or whatever, kind of being able to notice it when it shows up in your body. And then somatic coaching would say, can you add some physical strategies to manage it, like your regular workout schedule or breathing or, the emotional lap or letting your kids play outside? Like, what is it that you can do that just adds physical activity as a way of managing it?
I forgot about this, but when I was training at the Children's Hospital in Philadelphia, I did a clinical rotation in biofeedback. And it
Hmm.
was usually for pain management, but it was also for stress because a lot of people came in with headaches. And
Mhm.
so you can actually see your body, your body's somatic response to stress on a basically a computer screen, and how the different areas lit up based upon like your perception of stress. It was pretty amazing at the time.
Mm.
But that's also, if that's available to people, that would be an amazing tool, because you can determine what strategies work best for you, not just by trial and error, but by scientific data to see those stress points reduced. So
Mm.
just
You know what? If it's not on my watch yet, I'm guessing it's coming at some point. You know what I mean? I can do like a mini EKG. I can do heart rate. I can do so much on here. Like I could see that coming one day.
but we're taking a break from technology. So does that mean we have to remove our watch too? Yeah, see, 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 see.
Oh, the way my family talks about me and this watch, like one every step counted.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
crazy because like even like my ID, my driver's license is on my phone.
yeah,
So if I'm walking in the neighborhood or anywhere, I have my phone because I need my ID.
right.
So yeah, okay.
Hmm.
We're gonna
Hmm.
try.
I have to think
We're
about that. Yes, we're gonna try. We're gonna try and report back. So, okay, so that's the
gonna-
takeaway. Like, feel the stress in your body, notice where it is, and figure out
yeah,
can you add or
yeah,
leverage as many physical strategies as you can to manage it.
yeah.
So, what's your next topic?
So I guess my next topic, and this is near and dear to my heart, is perimenopause. How is it treating you? And I'd be interested also, because I don't talk to a lot of male friends about it, but I'm interested in how male friends are dealing with it as they interact with their partners. So, perimenopause is rough out here for me. Well, it was until yesterday because I'm doing hormone replacement therapy, and I went back and thank you, Lord.
Yeah.
Went back yesterday and had the pellets reinserted, and I feel like a new person already.
You were like the second, third person who's told me about these pellets, that how amazing they are. So that,
Let
yeah.
me tell you, it was so bad. The hot flashes, and just I was waking up every 2 hours. It was so bad for the past week that I called the doctor and I said, "Hey, listen, I think it's time to replace those pellets." They were like, "Come in and get your blood work done so we can have exact dosing." I literally called Monday morning to see if the blood work was back because they said it'll be about a week. Monday morning when they open, is it back? Is
It's
it back?
yeah.
Because I was dying.
Yeah.
Not literally, but yeah,
I know.
it's been a game changer. It
You know what? I don't know. I struggle with knowing like what symptoms might be, and maybe it doesn't matter. Like what symptoms might be perimenopause, what symptoms might be aging, like sleep. You know what I mean? So it's like, because I don't sleep as many hours as I feel like I used to. Like I wake up more often. Like I mentioned the energy, like it's up and down sometimes. I feel like more variable now than it was before. So I sometimes struggle with like, and I don't know, maybe it doesn't matter where it's coming from, but that's kind of, I don't think I've really named my symptoms as like, oh, that's definitely perimenopause. Now, hot flashes, when I had those, absolutely. That's like a clear, you're living one way hot flash. It's like a whole new aspect of life you got to figure out how to manage. And those went away for me. So after that, I don't know. Like I'm like, is this just life in the 50s or is this perimenopause? I don't know.
so I don't know. That's a great question, but for me, it doesn't matter. I just need it to be better.
Mhm.
Because it was when I tell you it was a struggle. I remember having a meeting, and one of my teammates who's younger, she was like, "Rosalind, why are you turning red?" And I wanted to be like, "Shut! That's a hot flash."
Please don't bring this to everyone's attention. Right. Yeah.
Oh my god! I was like,
Yeah.
but it was just I had the brain fog, the up every 2 hours, aching in my joints. And, I've had a rough history with joints and joint replacements. Um, and it was I just didn't feel like myself. I felt like I was irritable and cranky. And so those for me were not a part of aging unless I'm going to turn into an ornery old woman.
Right.
But, those weren't a part of aging. It
Yeah.
was more so just not feeling good, you know? And so I couldn't thug it out anymore. And I had to, make some changes. But I think it's an interesting topic and discussion simply because prior to our generation, I don't think anyone was talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. It does feel like it's much more of a discussion now, just in general in the world, in the media, in the news, the specials, like you hear more about it. I think it's people are
Uh,
talking about it more clearly. Um,
yeah,
because I think that's good because if it wasn't talked about, I don't know how you would interpret those symptoms. Like, I think
right,
hot flashes, everyone would have known, that's
right.
similar. But all the other things, the brain fog, the sleeplessness, all those other things,
Yeah.
I think if people weren't talking about it, I don't know how you would interpret it, which might make it hard to treat it.
And the other piece about it that I'm struggling with, I'm really equity centered. So one of the things that I firmly believe is that there should be equity, whether it's kids should be able to have a quality education no matter your zip code, and
Yeah.
everybody should have access to healthcare. That's just who I am.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting to me, like HRT or hormone replacement therapy is not typically covered by insurance.
I didn't know that.
Yes. So it is an out of pocket expense. So why it's not to me, I hate to use the word fair, but as I have a 6-year-old, it's not fair
Right.
that that is not something that is available to all women who are able to take it,
Mm.
but Cialis and Viagra is covered by insurance for men. I think that is bananas.
Mm.
And it again speaks to the inequity in healthcare for women.
Yeah.
Like, how are we not covering this?
I didn't know that. I always assumed it was covered.
No,
I didn't know it wasn't. It's been talked about for so long. I think the
yeah.
hormone replacement therapy as a strategy for combating the symptoms of perimenopause. I honestly thought it was. Hmm.
But then, then the question is it a medical necessity? Technically, no. You can thug it out if you wanted to.
Well, that's a
Well,
lot of medical things.
yeah, well, touche, touche, touche.
That's a
But
lot.
it's something that absolutely should be covered by insurance for women in our 50s because I never knew my mom and I never talked about this. So I knew it was coming as I went to the doctor every year and she would ask about symptoms. I'm like, I'm good, I'm fine. Then I was like, wait a minute,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
this ain't right.
Uh-huh.
This ain't right. So, but again, it's tough because I have some friends who have a significant history a significant family history of cancer, who HRT is not an option for them.
Mm.
Um, Other, whatever underlying health conditions that they cannot, participate in this type of therapy. And but I think we definitely have to have some more discussion to help women in this space because it's nothing nice. It's
Yeah.
nothing nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's what I've got for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so last topic. I think we probably don't have time to do the last topic. We can go to the this or that, but let's at least say what our topics were going to be. And then if people have a preference, we might be able to address it
Okay.
next time. So, what was your fifth topic going to be? So, just so everyone knows, what we were going to do is each share
Okay.
a potential topic and pick whichever one we thought was most interesting and talk about that. So, what was your potential fifth topic?
So one of the ones, well, can I do fifth and sixth? Because I had two. I
Okay,
had two.
sure. Actually, I had two as well. So,
Okay, good. So the first one is kind of looking at the Cassie and Diddy saga, basically, is what it is at this point. But I want to talk about the shame around partner violence.
wow.
And looking at some of the statistics around partner violence and how we can kind of shine some light on that. And the other thing is this gentle parenting trend. And what in the hell is it, and how is it really working for us? So yeah,
Oh,
those are my two.
okay, I like both of those actually.
Okay.
Mine are very different. So one of the ones I had listed was meal prepping. I want to talk through strategies, how it's working. We both do some version of that most of the time. So I
Mhm.
talk about some strategy for that, like how it's working, etc. So that was one of them. And my other one was choosing curiosity. So, like, how do you get to a place? I've been focused on this a bit. Being more open, more curious, kind of out of that execution, get it done, have a perspective mindset, and kind of stepping into this place of like more curiosity in conversations with people. It kind of goes with that slower pace as well, but how do you stay in a more curious place more often? So, those were my topics. So,
Those I love those.
okay, so let us know if you prefer one or the other. We might do that on one of the next episodes.
Love that.
So let's go to this or that. Like,
Okay, you ready?
yeah, I'm ready.
Okay,
So, yeah.
love this. Do you want me to start? Or I'll start. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Texting or talking?
Gosh, this is hard for me. I think I'd still pick talking.
Okay.
I think of texting as being like more quick information. I think I'd pick talking. What about you? Texting or talking?
I want to talk. I
Yeah,
want to talk.
I'm kind of,
And
yeah.
I also, just random. I would love to do this with Lauren, just to see from a generational perspective. Because I mean, some of the younger people are like, "Why are you calling me? Like, we could just text." I'm like,
Oh, that's a whole trend on TikTok. It's like someone's calling me when they could have texted me instead. I'm like, but I think in general, I get a lot from I gain more from the conversation, like personally. You know what I mean? Like I feel differently.
too. Okay,
Yeah.
a quiet walk or a very loud concert?
Oh, quiet walk every time. I did, I went to see Beyonce as you might remember. And I said, I'm too old for this. I just can't. I had a headache one time. It's just so much light, and this might be part of my migraines too. But so much light and noise and activity and people, and I was just like, oh no, I'm no. Mm-mm.
Yeah, yeah. It depends. I'll take a quiet at this age. I guess I'll go for quiet walk. However, because I'm trying to figure out a church home too, and this one I like, but I swear it's so loud in there. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, why is it so loud?" And even restaurants now, I feel are
Yes.
loud.
Hard,
And
you're yelling at the person across the table from you.
yes,
Yeah, that
yes,
can be
yes,
loud.
yes. Okay,
Mhm.
beach or mountain? The beach or the mountains?
Oh, beach every
Yeah,
time. Yeah.
same,
Yeah.
same, same. Don't bring me a mountain.
Mm-mm.
Coffee or tea?
I guess coffee because I mean, that's what I choose. I like the smell of coffee. I like
Okay,
something about it. I choose coffee.
okay. Again, because I'm 52 with a 6-year-old, coffee all day, every day. Um, ask for permission or ask for forgiveness.
Ask for forgiveness.
Oh, I
Over
agree.
permission.
I go for it. Go
Yeah,
for it.
I'm
Okay,
waiting for permission.
last one. Work from home or work in an office?
Gosh, what would you say? You go first. Let me think.
Oh, I think I think right now I want to work in an office.
Yeah.
Just simply because I need the stimulation of other people around me. I enjoy that. I'm an extrovert, I think, by nature, and I enjoy having people around me.
Mhm.
Working from home is tough because for me, it's very isolating. Like every now and again, a couple days here and there,
Mhm.
love it. But I do enjoy the social interaction of adults. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Which
I mean, I work primarily from home now, unless I'm at a client meeting or something, but and I do love aspects of it. Uh, I mean, I'd probably like you, I'd probably pick hybrid. If I could choose, I would do like one day in the office a week maybe. But I guess since
right.
the other 4 at home, I guess I'll go with work from home.
Okay.
Work
Okay.
from home primarily, but
Okay.
I do miss the office environment from time to time for sure.
Yeah, I mean, just yeah, I absolutely. I never thought I would say this like post COVID. I was like, I and I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
I get it. I get that.
want to do that. So yeah,
Okay. Well, thank you for that. We'll try to do that at the end of all of our episodes as well. So thank you all so much for joining. I guess, Rosalind, I'll just ask you in closing, like, what's one takeaway from today, one or two takeaways from today's conversation that you're walking away with?
I need to put my phone down
Yeah.
for my own sake. For
Hmm.
my own sake, just so that I can refocus and regroup. And I think also doing that will help me, particularly on a Sunday, may help me walk into the week with more clarity and
Hmm.
being more centered around what actually needs to be done versus what expectations I tend to put on myself. So I think that'd be great. And the other thing is, we're all struggling.
Yeah.
We are all struggling. So be kind because you never know what someone is dealing with
Hmm.
in your day-to-day interactions. And I'm using that example because we talked about chronic pain. And
Hmm.
you never both of us have suffered and you never know what somebody is experiencing. So be kind, whether it's socially, professionally, just be kind.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was one of mine when you said like we're all struggling. That's one of my takeaways too. Is like, man, I feel like so many of us are dealing with the overwhelm and like not meeting all the expectations we have of ourselves or thinking about how our parents did all these things. So, one takeaway I have for sure is first I'm going to call and get the answer, find out what she says for sure about how she handled it all.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, I gotta figure it out for myself too. Like, I'm gonna try to figure out, like, really check in with myself on how much of this overwhelm am I feeling and what am I really gonna do about it? Because that's not somewhere I wanna live day over day. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
don't wanna live month over month in a place of overwhelm. That's just not good, not where I wanna be.
Right.
I feel like at this stage of life, that's not where we wanna be at all. So I'm like, I'm really gonna think about some strategies to manage that for sure. That's definitely one of my takeaways.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. One more. One more.
Oh, one more for me?
Yep.
It's definitely the tech free. Like I've tried it, I've not been consistent with it, but I wanna try it more. I don't wanna make it like a regimen, like a rule every whatever, but, I wanna try it more because I always feel better after I did it.
Yeah.
I wanna lean in on that more, figure out how to do it even better. Yeah, because when I do it, it feels good.
Can you let us know, especially Tasha and I, know when you're going to do it so we can arrange calling and talking around that time?
No three-way conversations on this day because I'm on my tech-free day. So
Exactly. Well, do you still have a landline? 'Cause that's not technically technology.
no, I don't.
Okay.
It's technology actually, but no, I don't. So call Kelvin. That's the strategy. Call Kelvin if it's needed. So thank you all so much for joining. We hope you found something interesting, thoughtful, helpful, something to take into your week. We love you. We appreciate you being here and spending this time with us, and be well.
Thanks for listening to the Work Well, Live Well podcast. If you're ready to grow as a leader or as an organization, head to enelratalent.com. That's ENELRA talent.com to learn how we can support you. Like what you heard? Follow or review the show so you don't miss what's next.